Alright. Hi guys. Hauser here. I guess you could call this one What If Deku Was a Jedi, but he's not a Jedi. Or we'll do What If Deku Could Use the Force. That one would be a better title because he's not a Jedi. He can use the Force. I'm gonna make him pretty overpowered. He's gonna pretty much do any Force power you could see. Because unlike the Jedi or unlike the Sith, he wasn't trained to just use one side of the Force. He dabbles in both sides, basically, dark and light. He, just like a normal person, uses all of his emotions. You know, one day one emotion shows more than the other. That's just how it is. Okay, Suku's born at age 4, or not at age 4. He's born, and, you know, at age 4, they take him to the quirk doctor and find out what his quirk is. Doctors have no idea. They think it's something like his mom's, but from what they can see, it's way, way more powerful than hers. From the doctor's guess, right now he should be able to lift a full truck full of people. Maybe even a bus. And, you know, he's been showing other abilities, like he senses where people and objects are in the room. And all that stuff. So, you know, scientists were very intrigued by his many quirks, as they called it. His talent to be able to levitate objects, push them and pull them away from him, slow objects down, their momentum of the object, shoot lightning from his fingers, crush steel into tiny little balls, and, you know, jump super high. He could dodge incoming objects before they were even shot from the gun, so, yeah. Or from wherever it was shot from. So, like, if you shot a tennis ball at him, he could hit the tennis ball out of the air, you know, with his palm. Just whack it out of the air. Because it's, you know, he knows where it's going to be, where it is. He could dodge them. All this cool stuff. And Izuku, the doctor said that Izuku's quirk isn't really suited for combat, which is not the honest thing ever. Most honest thing, because Izuku could handle himself in combat with the Force. Any Jedi could. So the doctor recommends he trains in using swords or weapons like that. So Izuku trains with a katana, I guess we'll say. His katana is an energy katana, because this Just My Hero does take place in the future. And who knows, maybe these weapons do exist. It has a hilt that ignites the blade just like a lightsaber, and it can cut through a lot of stuff. Not through everything, not like a lightsaber, but it can cut through pretty much steel, anything, you know, Kevlar. The only things it has trouble against are like super reinforced, you know, plates of steel. So, you know, really hard shit. And Izuku, you know, trained with that for most of his childhood. You know, he meditates almost every day to, you know, find inner peace. And, you know, he's still the same as Izuku. He fanboys over heroes and all that. But not as much as he does in canon. Because in canon, he wanted to be them so bad and he didn't have the choice because it was taken away from him. So, yeah. So, now that he has a quirk, he isn't as big as a fan of heroes as he used to be. Now he knows he can become one, so he focuses more on becoming one than admiring them. Cool. Alright, we'll start off with the sludge villain attack. Izuku's walking home, his backpack's on his back, of course. The sludge villain attacks him. Just like in canon, it grabs hold of him. Sludge villain goes, "You have a strong body, kid. I'm gonna take it." Izuku, who can't speak, opens his palm, and the sludge villain lets go of him, and sludge villain's getting pulled apart. Izuku turns around going, "Sorry, Sludgy, it's not your lucky day." And he starts condensing the sludge villain into a tiny little ball. So sludge villain is just 2 eyes, a mouth, and sludge in a circle the size of a golf ball. Izuku takes, we'll say like a bottle that he has and just puts him in it. And sludge villain's trying to break out, he can't. And sludge villain's like, "Come on, kid, I'll do anything, let me go, please." And, you know, Izuku's like, "Sorry, nope, I'm taking you to the authorities." All Might lands looking for the sludge villain, doesn't find him, sees a young man, and he goes, "Young man, have you seen a sludge villain?" Izuku turns around. Oh my god, what are you doing here? And he goes, "Well, I'm chasing a sludge villain." And he goes, "This guy?" Holds up the bottle, and All Might's like, "Wow, impressive, you got him. Alright, thanks, you just made my job a whole lot easier. Now I can go back on patrol. Can I take him?" And Izuku goes, "Sure thing. Can I have an autograph?" All Might goes, "Yeah, no problem." Hands it, signs it over. He hands the bottle, he signs the paper, All Might jumps off, and Izuku's happy. Izuku's on his way home, and him and Bakugo aren't friends, but they aren't bully and nerd. They're more what Todoroki and Bakugo are. More frenemies. Kind of closer to where they are in canon now. But Bakugo doesn't blow up every time he sees Izuku. He wants to be better than him, and he calls him names, but kind of like he does to everyone else in the world. He treats Izuku pretty much the same as he treats everyone else. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Izuku, first day of the entrance exam, the 10 months. Izuku's not going to get one for all in this, because there's no point. I don't really want to. So, Miura will get one for all. Izuku will stay with the Force and tuned with it. And Izuku will do his training. Kind of like Luke did with Yoda. He's levitating multiple objects while sitting on his head, crisscross applesauce, and has a rock on his legs. So he's lifting a bunch of heavy objects, has a heavy object on his leg while he's doing a headstand where he's, meditating in the meditations. You criss your legs crossed and your hands are together, and a rock is on top of his legs, and he's sitting there holding it all for like 24 hours. And he does it, and he does it, and he gets stronger and stronger. He focuses on his athletic abilities, which, admittedly, he says is not the best. He's strong and fast, but he's nowhere near, people like All Might and all them. He, however, does admit that what he lacks in strength and speed, he definitely puts up more in physical power, like, with the Force. He's like Anakin or Yoda level Force powers. First, the entrance exam. Izuku starts off by walking in, sitting down next to Bakugo. Two of them don't talk, so Ida doesn't jump up at him and be all snippy. He does do that to Peasant Mike, who calms him down, talking about the zero-pointer. And they begin. Izuku gets what he does in canon for the theory test, and we begin with Izuku walking out. Peasant Mike says go, and Izuku begins to walk. Also, he didn't trip, just letting you know. He's more in tune with the Force, we'll say. And he's continuing walking down. Villains are, clashing with kids around him. And he just sits down, crosses his legs, and puts his arms, and locks his fingers together, and just sits there. The heroes are confused, and Izuku's just waiting, and a couple robots come over to him. And the second they get in, 5 feet of him, they immediately start floating. All immediately crush together and go into a tiny little ball, which then starts flying around the arena, destroying other robots. And Izuku's just sitting there with his eyes closed. And he's taking robot off after robot. And they're so confused as Izuku stands up and the little ball flies and he catches it in between his fingers and tosses it to the ground. And they don't know if that was him or someone else, but they count it as him, I guess, as they do see now that he's standing up, he has similar powers, as a couple other robots charge at him, and he just puts his arms up in the air, and they all start to float. He crunches his fists, and they all get destroyed. And then drops them, they fall to the ground, and another one charges at him from the front, and he uses Force Lightning to electrocute it, kind of like Kaminari would do. But instead of shooting it out, he'd have to touch him because he can't shoot BBW. Izuku then pulls out his, I guess we'll call it a lightsaber in this, because I guess they can call it that. He pulls out his lightsaber, human version, and begins hacking away at things. like stain level of control with his blade, you know, through and through, back and forth with great elegance and incredible speed. By the time the zero pointer comes up, he has 54 villain points. He is putting his lightsaber, quote unquote, on his pocket, onto his belt. As he looks up, the zero pointer is standing up. He smiles, laughs, turns around, and continues fighting his robots, as he knows it's most likely just a distraction. Like President Mike said, it's not that it's not beatable, it's just best to be avoided. So he just avoids it, until he hears a girl scream. Like all Jedis, his role is peacekeeper. Keeps the peace. But Defender, or whatever the hell Jedi go by, he charges over to help her. The robot, the rock falls onto her, her leg's trapped, and he uses the Force to pick it up and throw it at the giant zero pointer, hitting it in the shin. The zero pointer doesn't even get affected by it. Izuku levitates her up and begins pushing her towards further away as the zero pointer stomps towards Izuku, who catches it with his other hand while he's still floating Uraraka. Now he's, doing two things at once, so he has to drop Uraraka, then put both his arms up. The zero pointer is starting to crush him. He's losing to the pressure, and he starts tapping into his fear, or his anger, and his hatred, using the dark side. He gains more power, and pushes the zero pointer up into the air. The zero pointer comes falling back down onto its back, starts getting back up, and Izuku draws his lightsaber to his hand using the Force, igniting it, running up the knee, dragging his saber through the leg as it begins leaving a giant red mark across his leg. He finally gets to the hip. He cuts where the leg joints connect to the upper torso, and then drags it up the torso, up the neck, splitting the head in two, and jumping back down with the Force, destroying the zero pointer. As he turns around, Uraraka can see that his eyes are glowing a little bit orange, but it fades away back to green. As he puts his lightsaber away and takes a deep breath and goes, well, I didn't think I was going to have to use the dark side, but guess I did. Walks over to Uraraka and asks her, are you okay? And she goes, yeah, thanks to you, I almost became pancake there. And, he goes, well, it's not much. I had to actually drop you. I'm sorry about that. She goes, no problem. You had to drop me to help yourself. And he goes, I shouldn't have. I should have kept pushing you farther away. That way you would have been safer. And she goes, that's very sweet of you. And then they hear, 2 minutes remaining. And Izuku goes, oh, crap. And he starts walking away. And, she goes to stop him, but she realizes that, she should get points too. And the two separate. I'm going to do an Uraraka and Deku ship for this one. Because I can. I think it's cute. I like all the ships in My Hero Academia except for some. I really hate all of the Mineta ships. Only because it's Mineta, and he deserves to die alone just like me. Me and him are going to be in a ditch, buried together. Oh god. That did not come out the way I wanted it to. He'll be buried in a separate ditch. We'll be in 2 different ditches. We'll both be buried, though, by ourselves. No family, no friends. Zuko gets a couple more points, like another 20. So he goes from 50 to 74 points, plus the 60. Jesus, I hate math. 3 from the... So, 134. Right? Am I doing the math wrong? Because 60 plus 70 would be 130, because 30 plus 70 is 100. And I'm doing math right, because then you add the 4 to the 30, you're getting 134. I hope I'm doing the math right. I believe I am. Okay, because I suck at all levels of schoolwork, as people can tell from my videos, as I am severely dyslexic. That's why I don't reply to people's comments, because I see so many that I want to respond to, but I don't understand them, so I don't want to say something stupid or accidentally hurt someone's feelings, so I just keep my mouth shut. There's like one comment with someone talking about giving Izuku some character's power, but I couldn't read the name of the character, so I was like, oh, I hate myself. I'd love to do more of your suggestions, but I can't read. Back to this. Izuku has a total of 134. Bakugo has a total of 100. Flicks Bakugo in the forehead, basically. Izuku goes home, waits the 2 weeks. his mom comes in, hands him the letter, and he opens it. It's All Might. "Hello, young man. We've met before, I believe. You were the one who helped me stop the sludge villain. I'm glad to see that you are going to become a hero. I can't wait to see you become a great, great hero in UA, not My Hero Academia. Shut up. That's the name of the show. UA is the name of the school. In UA, when you will come, and I hope you do, I hope I get to see you and help train you. All Might will be leaving." And he rockets off screen, and that's when President Mike walks in and goes, "Hello. All Might had to go and record a couple other videos. I'll finish this. You are an amazing show of power, and of course we accepted you for that, but we also had to let you know that you were also accepted for your heroics, putting your own personal safety aside for that other girl. That heroics, even if you had a low score and wouldn't have made it, we still would have let you in for rescue points." As he looks at the chart, 60 rescue points and his 74 villain points. He has come in first place for the entrance exam for the past 2 years. Izuku's ecstatic, but keeps his emotions under control because he is practically a monk. Let's go with Izuku the first day Aizawa's fitness test. Aizawa starts off. Aizawa's very wary of Izuku because he saw his devastating power. He saw Izuku crush all of those robots, push them into each other, making a tiny little ball, sadly killing a bunch of other robots. Then he picked up a bunch, crushed them, used lightning from his fingertips, then pushed the giant robot off, and then his sword. He's obviously well trained with swords, Aizawa knows, from just watching him fight. And Aizawa puts Izuku in the spotlight, hands him the ball and goes, "Throw it as far as you can, and use your quirk." And Izuku smiles, going, "Sure thing." And he begins to tap into the light and the dark side, feeling his negative and positive emotions at once. One eye turns a dark, almost red in color. The other turns almost blue in color. As he throws the ball with incredible force, it goes 69 meters. Bakugo goes next, beats it by 1 meter. Because he has to prove he's better than Izuku. The race, Ida comes in first place, Bakugo comes in second, Izuku comes in third, Todoroki, then all the other faster characters. Side to side, Bakugo, Mineta surprisingly came in first on that one, so Bakugo came in second, Izuku came in fourth, behind, we'll say someone else. I don't know who, you pick someone. Strength test, he came in third, behind Tokiyami and the multiple arm dude, who came in first. Ball throw, he came in third, behind Bakugo and Uraraka. And what other bits were there? He got the furthest for the jump. He is incredible. Forced jump. That's a thing Jedis have. Boom, jumps it. He increased his speed, so that's why he came in third, I believe, or fourth. He increased his strength, that's why he came in third for the strength. And all that stuff. So he came pretty well rounded. We'll say he came in 5th place. Bakugo tapping out first place from altogether. Todoroki second, Momo third, and Ida fourth, and him 5th, we'll say. I don't know if that's the actual way it went, but that's how I'm going to say it was. Zuku came in 5th. Mineta gets expelled because he's the weak link. As we all know, I don't have good feelings towards Mineta. And the hero versus villain test. I'm going to do that next after I do what I'm about to do. So, I want to be the very best. The best one that there ever was. Okay, sorry, quoting Pokemon. But Zuku is leaving school for the first day, and Uraraka catches up to him, and she goes, "Hey, I never got to catch your name." And he goes, "Zuku Midoriya." And now, in this world, that I'm building, the Midoriya family are heroes except for his mom. So his father and his father's father were all heroes, and his mother's father and all of them were heroes. But his mother couldn't be a hero because her quirk wasn't as strong as the rest of her family's. And her husband was pretty strong. Izuku was lucky enough to continue the thing. So they're pretty rich. Not as rich as Todoroki, nowhere near that. More like Ida and Momo. Right? And Uraraka doesn't know this, but she hears Midoriya's. She knows that the Midoriya family used to be heroes, and that his father is a hero. And she goes, "No way, you're the son of the number 8 hero." Because we'll say his dad's the number 8 hero. Who went to America to help there because they have really, really needed heroes. So he went to America. That's just why his dad's in America, we'll say. And she, starts talking to him, and she gets on the bus. He gets on the bus, and the two of them are talking the whole way there, and they get to know each other. And one of the conversations is, she asks, "What's your quirk?" And Zuko says, "It's a bit of a mix between my mom and the rest of her side of the family. It's like telekinesis. I can lift objects, but the doctor said mine was a bit different. I have different abilities. I can shoot lightning, and I can increase my strength and speed. I can slow objects down. I can do all this cool stuff, but it all comes from the same thing. The doctors decided to call it the Force. There's a dark side and the light side. I can tap into both. The dark side is my negative emotions. The light side is my or positive emotions. And the dark side is usually more physical strength, power based, and light is more defense and healing based." And he describes those two, and she's, really interested. So they continue talking. And he asks what her quirk is. And she goes, well, she already said her name, Ochako Uraraka. And, they said that before they got on the bus, we'll say. And she goes, well, is it? No, it's not Uravity, it's something. Something. Her hero name's Uravity. I can't think of her quirk's name. Screw me, but, she can... Zero gravity? No. Gravity? Something like that. Something on those lines. She explains it, just like she did, or President Mike, I guess, technically did in canon. Either way, it's the same quirk, you guys all know it. Yeah. And she finds out that she lives pretty close to Izuku. I mean, they get off the bus stop and they continue walking the same way. And he asks, "So you live this way too?" And she goes, "Yeah, you do too?" And he goes, "Yep." And she goes, "Aren't you part of the Midoriya family, the heroes? Your father's the 8th hero, or the number 8 hero." And he goes, "Yep, that's my dad." And she goes, "Why would you live in this tiny town?" And he goes, "Well, my mom wanted me to grow up like she did. Her parents raised her in civilization close, not really spoiling her. So she was more in tune to her friends and family and civilians when she was going to become a hero. Sadly, she never became a hero, but she wanted me to have that same mentality. So she always had us in a small home, and we always had what we needed, but made sure that we always stayed disciplined and respectful to those who don't have what they need and even what they want." And she goes, "Wow, that's really, really respectful." And he goes, "Yeah. I guess technically not respectful. Honorable, would it be?" Either way. She walks and takes a left, and he takes a left as well, but then he turns right and she turns left, and their houses straight across from each other. I'm doing that. And, the two of them laugh about it. She walks into her house, and he walks into hers. Or his. Not hers. Now, Uraraka's side. She walks into her family, her mom and dad, who own a company, so they're not home yet. They're still working. So she's sitting there on the couch, kind of bored. Kind of has nothing to do. She's kind of hungry. And Izuku, you know, he's outside in the yard, sitting, meditating in the front yard. It's... Okay, so here, look at the picture of the house. You know, you take a left and you go down a street. His is on the right and hers is on the left, right? Now, the yard is like a fence, but like one you can see through. It's like one you would use to keep your dogs inside or the cats inside the yard, which doesn't really work for cats because they can climb and dogs can't. But either way, yeah, one of those type of fences, like the one I have at my old house, which technically I don't have one here anymore. Sorry, you guys don't even know what my old house looks like. Sorry, but either way, technically, it's like that, and so she can see him sitting outside in the yard. So she goes outside to see what he's doing. She walks over to his fence, puts her head up against it, leaning, not saying anything because she just want to interrupt him. And he goes, "Hi, Uraraka." And she goes, "How do you know I was?" And he goes, "I can sense your presence." And she goes, "That's cool." And he goes, "Yep." She goes, "You mind if I come in?" And he goes, "No problem." Opens the gate and she walks in and he goes, "So why aren't you with your family?" And she goes, "Well, they're working, you know." And he goes, "Oh, you want to come in? We have food ready." She goes, "I'd love to." And the two of them walk in, and his mom's freaking out. She's like, "Oh my god, Izuku!" And, you know, he's got a girlfriend. But she doesn't say anything to embarrass him. Even though every parent would take the opportunity to embarrass their kid in front of their friends. Especially if they thought they were dating. That is something every family does. But she sits down, she eats with Izuku. They have a pretty good meal. She laughs, she gets along with Inko pretty well. And the two of them, you know, hang out before she goes back to her house. And when she gets to her house, she talks to her mom and dad, who's finally home. Her dad, I don't know his name, says something and goes, "Hey, honey, how was your first day at UA?" And she goes, "Good, I made a friend. And he goes, "I hope you would. Alright, what's their name?" And she goes, "His name is Izuku Midoriya." And both her mom and her dad's jaws drop. And she goes, "What?" And they go, "Midoriya," as in the Midoriyas. Like, the line of heroes. The 8th hero, whatever, Midoriya. And she goes, "Yeah, that's his father." And they go, "So, cool. You know, pretty, you know, just dumbstruck that she met him and became friends." And she also goes, "Oh yeah, he lives across the street." And both of them like, "What?" And she points out the window, points out his house, as they can see him in the backyard, in the yard, even though it's getting dark. It's like about to become nighttime. Like, it's in between dusk. And it's like dark enough you could see the stars, but light enough that you can see everything, that the lights wouldn't have to be on. Kind of like in between there. And he's just sitting there on the in the yard meditating. And they're like, "No way, that's great. You should introduce us sometime." And she goes, "I will." And, you know, she goes up to her room and her mom goes, "You're not going to eat, sweetie?" And she goes, "No, they invited me over for dinner." And she goes, "I actually brought some with me. You guys don't have to cook tonight." And, you know, they're like, "Oh, that's sweet of them." They walk into the kitchen and they see a shit ton of food. They see rice, fish, chicken, steak, just a huge pile of food there. Because during the talk, Uraraka mentioned that her family isn't really that wealthy and, you know, she has to, you know, can't really eat that often. So Izuku and his mom felt kind of bad, so they just gave her a shit ton of food. And, you know, her parents are crying. They're like, "They're so kind." And we go to the second day of UA with All Might, who runs into the room, ha 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 ha, laughing his ass off, like he always does, with his giant, big-ass grin. He smiles, and he goes, does everything in canon up to speech, fight training. Bakugo screams out, "Yes!" They go. Izuku comes in with his hero costume, which looks a lot different than it does in canon. So, okay. Think Obi-Wan's outfit from the Clone Wars. Like, if you watch the original animated series, where he has the clone trooper pads and stuff on, and the device on his arm. That stuff. If you don't know, just Google search Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and you should find one. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. But the armor is green, but like a dark green, almost veering on black, and he has brown robes or brown brown clothing. It looks just like Obi-Wan's, just the white is green. Okay, cool. Alright. So yeah, and he has his lightsaber that he carries on him, his hero equipment, I guess you could say. And he has a walkie-talkie built onto his wrist, so he can contact his team and talk to them through there, and he has an earpiece and everything. And they do the pairs, and Uraraka and Izuku are teamed up, and they begin talking, because they already know each other. They know each other's quirks pretty well, because they had that long conversation on the bus ride back to their houses, and after she went to their house and all that stuff. So, two of them begin going, and she asks, so what's our plan? And he goes, well, it'd probably be best to go in from the top, because knowing Bakugo, he'll race down to the bottom to intervene us, because he always wants to prove he's better. And he can get himself up there, but he doesn't know or he can get himself up there and her. It's just a matter of getting out of the way of the windows, so they don't get spotted going up. And Uraraka just says, why don't we jump from building to building? So climb up on one building and run across the roofs. Izuku thinks it's a good idea, so they begin it. He uses the force to lift her up to the top. She climbs up, and he uses force athletics and jumps from one wall, and up and down, side to side, up to the roof. Two of them begin. They're two buildings over from the one they have to get to. Hop, skip, and away they go. And they get on the top. Izuku, she goes, how do we get in? And he goes, with this. Pulls out his lightsaber, ignites it, sticks it in the roof, and cuts a circle. And uses the force to pull it off from the top so it doesn't fall in, sliding it over. He drops down using the force to land very quiet. And then he uses the force to slowly let her down in. And right as she touches the ground, they hear Ida, who's halt heroes, doing his whole villain monologue speech thing, seeing Uraraka and Izuku, who the bomb's on the very top floor. That's not good. So Izuku looks around, doesn't see Bakugo, and so Ida's about to contact him, and Izuku uses the force to hold him captive, and he can't move or anything. And Izuku goes, okay, I have an idea. And he force pulls Ida to him. And he puts Ida through the roof on the top. And pulls him down straight through the hole, hitting his head on the ground, knocking him out. Just making sure he doesn't untie himself through the ropes. Even though if you get wrapped up, you're still out. We'll just say his dark side showed a little bit. He wrapped him up in the tape. Ida's out. And Bakugo hears that Ida's out and begins his rush up to the top. Uraraka's about to touch the bomb, and Bakugo makes a huge explosion, pushing her. She's about to fall out the window. Izuku uses the force to pull her closer to him when Bakugo gives him a big right hook to the jaw. Izuku falls onto his back, rolling onto his feet, standing up, and shoots lightning at Bakugo, who rolls out of the way, using an explosion at Izuku, who uses the force to use a shield to block it. The two of them are locked in combat. Uraraka jumps onto Bakugo's back, making him lighter as he throws her off. Izuku catches her and uses the force pushing Bakugo out the window. As he falls, he slowly goes down, not gonna get hurt because of it, but he can't get back up. But then they forgot he can use explosions, so he starts making explosions back up. Like Iron Man, he comes flying in, tackling Izuku into the ground, who then starts using his dark side and increases his strength. He punches Bakugo in the stomach, fracturing two ribs, then across the jaw, and the two of them get into a fist fight. Bakugo puts an explosion on Izuku's stomach, and the pain and the anger of the pain, or the pain and the hurt, the hate, not hatred, but pain and fear he's feeling right now, increases dark side, and he starts, both his eyes are now glowing a dark orange, and he uses Force Lightning, and Bakugo barely dodges it in time. A piece of lightning scratches his shoulder, and he gets a little bit of jolt, and Izuku uppercuts him using the Force to push him up into the ceiling. He hits the ceiling, falling to the ground, sitting back up, refusing to be defeated. Bakugo puts both his hands together like a Kamehameha type thing, makes a bunch of explosions, pushing it outwards, and does a huge explosion, and it blows Izuku into the wall, and it knocks him out, and he falls to the ground. And Bakugo, right after beating Izuku, hears "Hero Team wins," because he was so distracted with Izuku that Uraraka had literally picked up the bomb and pulled it out of the room and everything. Because Uraraka understood what Izuku was doing by buying them time, by holding off his Bakugo. So she grabbed the bomb and ran. All Might called it. Bakugo's kind of pissed off that he lost, but he's happy that he beat Izuku. One of the strongest people he knows, because Izuku is strong, and Bakugo knows that, he admits it. But he's just really ecstatic that he beat Izuku. He doesn't even care that he lost. I guess it's just who he is in this world. And he walks off. Ida is waking up with a concussion. Recover Girl kisses it away. He's fine. Izuku has a couple burn marks, but he tells her it'll be fine. He can use the Force to heal it. And, puts his hand on his chest. His eyes glow a beautiful blue, almost crystal blue, and his burn marks start to fade away. And yeah. So, do you guys want Uraraka? Because I think you guys do want Uraraka, because I could do that. But I could also do a Todoroki one if you want her to be female, because I haven't introduced anyone to Todoroki yet. And by part 2, I could just, haven't said anything about Todoroki, so she could just be a female, could be a he. Don't care. But here's my idea. During the sports festival, after the sports festival, Izuku could erase Todoroki's scar using the Force to heal it, right? And that could be their kind of, she gets a crush form thing, or he gets a crush form. Either way. If not, I'll stick with Uraraka. I just wanted to know. Maybe you guys want it, maybe you're not. But that will be this video for today. Yeah. So I'm probably going to do Batman Part 2 and this Part 2 tomorrow. Because I'm just going to bomb these what-ifs out. And then I'm going to probably do Lucifer after I finish. Or whenever I feel like it. I really don't want to rewatch the Lucifer series. Because I don't like the sound of my own voice. I really don't. And 30 minutes I can tolerate of my own voice. I just kind of skip through to the important parts. But yeah. Hauser signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked the video. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe and all that jazz. Goodbye.